actually make each. That'll pay us 5K for 100. And I'll put the 5 and 9 up to 3,500 each. Again, paying 5,000. So inside hit's going to win us 5 grand. The outside hit's going to win us 6. So we're looking to really kind of get to the halfway point if we can today with our hit. That's the goal. We're going to be all in except for our initial 20,000 bucks plus a couple of measly $2,600 and change over there on the left side. So let's get and go. Again, buying in. Who cares what the point is? We walked into the middle of a table. We're that guy interrupting the whole game to buy in for one roll. Here we go. Let's see if we can't get this thing to work again today and get ourselves a box number hit on the way to glory. And we have a 325, which is fantastic. 325 with 3,500 on it. For 100, we'll pay 5,000 bucks in return. Now I don't actually have enough chips for 5 grand. I'm going to give you 3 here. And I'll give you, I have enough chips, but not enough of the yellow. So there's your $5,000 win for today. So we yellowed again. We're there. We're over 50K now with this hit, which is fantastic. I think that means that next session tomorrow, we can start table max across. We're going to go $5,000 per number starting with tomorrow's session. So there it is. There's your YOLO for Wednesday. So far, so good. We've actually held it together here pretty well. Surprisingly, I expected to actually get whacked here sooner than I think we're going to. It looks like we're going to get whacked. You know what's going to happen at some point. This little gambit of ours is going to not go so well. But at this point, we've more than doubled our money, and we've gotten ourselves to halfway to our goal. We're over $50,000 now, so that's pretty impressive. I'm stoked about that, which means that as we're going table max, we can't now go behind our starting point unless we have consecutive 7s. So we're actually in a pretty good spot here. And again, for a weird, goofy, fun way to start every morning, I'm having a good time with it, although it is ridiculous and not recommended that we play this way. But that goes without saying, I hope. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Glad to see y'all here. A lot going on in the craps world today. A lot of things. Dr. S getting tired of you. Can't be getting tired of the YOLO. Come on, man. That's the way we start our mornings. Just get up, get going, and throw it in there. And you know, it's a good way to kind of crack it, right? If you think about any good radio show or any good news show, there's segments that you can kind of depend on, right? And I think what I'm trying to do to some degree here is get us into a case where we're doing kind of the same sorts of things at the same sorts of rhythm every day, and you know, so you have something to kind of plan your morning around. Anyway, that's that. So here we go. Let's go to our announcements and see what's happening in the craps world today. A lot of cool stuff going on. On Point Craps this morning put a video out, which I haven't yet watched. Mike, I'm sorry, I just haven't had time. I got up, 45 minutes ago. He's doing an inside out pressing video today. I think Mike and Craft Master Journey both are doing a little more into the teaching of how things how things work from a beginning player. And so I think that this thing you're doing today with the inside pressing, if it's what I think it is, cool. Good that you're doing that. I know that Joe at Crafts Master is doing a 1 roll a day of the Dice Degen triple threat strategy. So I got to get on watching that. I want to see how he's working that thing out. 555 Greg, you did the Bruce Stern smorgasbord yesterday or the day before, which was cool. I actually got a chance to watch the whole thing through this morning, and it was pretty cool to watch that. And it's a very good way of thinking, right? It's an across bet, so you have all the numbers covered. We like having multiple targets. It's a regression after a couple 2-3 hits, which is smart because now you're playing risk-free. And then it's a run to the don't at a certain point. So you're locking up some profit, you're running to the don't. I think it makes sense on all the levels. Where strategies like that fall short, as you saw yesterday, is it's not always easy to get those hits. It's not easy for the across better to actually get 3 hits. You saw how many times I failed to get 3 hits. And those strategies that work that way, they're great in theory, but they're in practice, they're really hard. It's hard to get those hits. It really is. I was actually playing a strategy here at practice last night that I got from watching Sin City Living. And Sin City Living's got, they're home run hitters. Those guys just want to go all to the max every time. But there was a really cool strategy that they had put out there, which makes a ton of sense. It's basically 3 hits on either the 6 or the 8 before the 7, $500, right? You have a $200 risk. You're going to profit 500 if you can get the 6 or 8 to show 3 times, either one of them 3 times before a 7. Sounds easy. I can't get it to work. I literally tried that thing 20 times, maybe hit it 4 times out of 20. It's so much harder than you think to get the rolls that you need to get shit to win. It's unbelievable when you actually try things out. And then I got, okay, we're going to go opposite. We're going to go ahead and take the David idea, which I heard this from Casino Quest. He said, the only don't player I ever saw that actually made money was a guy that used to lay the 6 and the 8 all the time. I'm like, lay the 6 and the 8? He's like, yeah, basically that, because the payout is so high, it's like laying the 4 and 10. It's like placing the 4 and 10 or buying the 4 and 10 that you get paid 2 to 1. You don't hit it very often, but when you do hit it, it's good. Laying the 6 and the 8, same idea. You can lay the 6 and 8 for 30 and win 25 instead of laying the 4 for 30 and winning 15. Makes sense. And then I went out there and said, let's just try and laying the 6 and the 8. Of course, I got crushed by rolling a ton of 6s and 8s. Anyway, I think it's fun to explore those things, so it's cool. So 5s, it's cool that you're doing that. And Ken, if you're not following Ken Knows Gambling, has been posting a series of shorts this week. He's now he's announced that I talked to him last week, actually. He's down in Biloxi. He's working with a client who's kind of bankrolling a strategy test, essentially. They're going down there to kind of run things at a table, and they're doing really well, it sounds like. So I expect Ken will do a full write-up of how that went. But they're down there playing the dark side in Biloxi, and they're doing pretty well. So that's cool that he's giving us the updates. Again, anybody else who's doing something, I know that Sideshow Gamble had a video out last night, which I did not catch. That's why it's not here. I didn't have a chance to watch it, but I know he's working through some things. Jeff, if you have new things that you're working on, let me know what's going on. I'll add it to the list here, and I'll start, again, highlighting what I'm watching as far as videos go, and maybe we'll even get to, once I finish this series here of this comparison I'm doing, we'll get into some structural breakdowns of these videos and that kind of thing. So Friday night fights, the King of the Mountain sign-up thing, I'll have that done again by Friday. Tomorrow, maybe Friday, I'll have both things done. I'm working on the app. That's my casino tracker app, which is basically where are you and what are you doing at the casinos. And the sign up for the Friday night thing, I'm trying to work them both through, and I will hopefully have them both done by Friday. Maybe Friday morning we can do a little extended, maybe Friday afternoon we'll do it as a separate show, a little extended test to sort of let y'all into my brain as far as a coder goes, and help me beta test this thing so that we can get it launched out. So that's coming up soon. And again, we'll start Craps League stuff later on. We'll get to that later. Anyway, join Casino Gaming TV. It's my constant reminder to join Casino Gaming TV. Skill says, I have proven that's difficult to hit twice. It is difficult to hit twice. It's amazing how hard it is to get 2 hits. It's crazy town. You'd think 2 inside hits should be doable most of the time. It's just not. And it's just, whatever, man. The dice roll the way the dice roll, and it's very hard to do. In theory, that works. In my brain, I go 66 inside, 1 hit, down. I'm playing for free, so to speak. It's hard to get done. Just hard to get done. Which brings me to today's talk, right? And again, we're going to continue along this comparison, if you will. And I don't want to make it a comparison, because it's not this versus that, even though I put versus there and I use comparison in the video title. What I want to do here is give you a lens into the three basic ways of playing. One way I would never play, right? But 2 ways we do play. One of them is a pass line bet with max odds, which is a very standard way to play. It's the math way to play. It's the way that books have been written about playing the pass line with odds is the only way to make it. Versus the across bet. And the principal difference there is that the across bet, of course, has got all the targets. The pass line player has 1 target, the 1 number that the dice chose for them. And that's it, right? Ostensibly, the person with more targets should win more often. As they win, they're reducing their exposure to the 7. Over time, that should equal out or even out with the losses experienced by the pass line person. So far, it hasn't worked out that way. The pass line players won big both days I've run this. The other 2 players have lost or broken even. I expect the across player to break even. My expectation there is that person breaks even until the long roll happens, and then they take off. I expect our 64 across player to not make a whole lot of money, because the game they're playing is not to make any money, which is hard for people to hear. But when you're playing across, you're not trying to make money. You're trying to get yourself set up to make money, if that makes sense. The player who's playing the single bet is just a thing in my head that I wanted to show. I wanted to show you that the pass line player having the dice pick for them versus the single bet player picking his own number are at the same house edge, essentially within a minute part of a percentage point. They're about the same, but the win percentages have been different, which is interesting. So I'm going to play that guy different. I'm not going to have him working the come out today. We're going to have that guy working with the puck. Really, his risk is at the same time as the pass line player. He's just picking his number. That'll make that a more fair comparison. The 64 across guy today, my change to him is going to be it's going to make our friend Dylan very angry, but I'm not going to press at all. I'm just going to do same bet 3 times and down. Same bet 3 times and down. We're just going to get 3 hits and come down, no pressing, and do it that way. I may run a side bankroll on the 64 across, and not from a rack, but I might run one and just press the crap out of it and just see what it looks like to get to that point. So there's that. All right, so there we go. I think that's it. Let's go back to the table. Let's go back over there and we'll go ahead and do the zoom in. Now, Greg mentioned yesterday in chat that the camera view that has the dice landing zone, which I'll put the dice out there right now, is impossible to see. Now, if you're watching from your phone, no question, you can't see it. I don't care if you can't see it. It's not intended for you to watch me roll the dice this morning and know that I rolled. It's there as proof that when I'm rolling the dice, they are what they say they are, because people get really pissy when your dice don't actually show up on screen as they roll. So what I'm really trying to do with that, and get these things lined up here correctly so we can let's see, that should be about right there. What I want to do is make sure there's trust, that when I'm doing this, that we're all seeing what I'm seeing, that you're seeing the actual dice get rolled properly, and that I'm not lying to you. So I'm doing this camera so that if you want to come back and watch it on your own at some other time, you can see that the dice were what I in fact said they were. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. So if you can't see them, I don't care. They're there for proof. Here we go. We're going to have, again, the player in the front is going to play simple pass line max odds. The other 2 players are going to come with 64 across for the guy in the back. The guy in the front here is going to do probably the 8. I haven't been hitting the 6 very much, obviously. We'll play the 8 today at the $60 level. So he will have about the same risk as this guy does here for the same reward. Picking a number, having a number picked, that's the difference here. The across player, I'm going to same bet it, but I'm also going to be monitoring how long that roll could have gone. So we're going to same bet it to make a point, and I want to make the point as I go. So let's get a number established here. Our first point is going to be a 6. There it is, a 3-3 hard 6. There's going to be our point. So the odds player, of course, is going to go $50 max odds behind the line. I'm going to move him over here so we can see his money. Oh, not that way, this way. There we go. Now you can see his money. I think you can. There he is. All right, this player here in the middle is going to grab the 8 for $60. Nice and easy. And our player in the back is going to go 64 across, so I need $65 right here. He's going to grab all the numbers at $10. Now, each of these players has got about the same risk at this point. Not quite the same risk, but about the same risk. Let me get these bets set up here for you. And I'll explain that in a minute. There's a 60, there's a dollar change for him. So 64 at risk, 60 at risk, 60 at risk. It's about the best I can do. What I will try and do is keep the risk levels the same. So what I think I'm going to do here to keep this comparison fair, we'll see, is to reduce, I don't know. I mean, if the point's a 4 or 10, this guy's only going to have $40 out there. For this guy to have $64 out there, the loss will be greater on an early 7 than this guy would experience. I'm going to try and keep his number the same. So we might move him to 44 inside. We'll just see how that works out. So let's go ahead and get it rolling. See how we can avoid big red for a minute, and we don't. Everybody gets their ass kicked here. We get a 617 out of the gate, so everybody loses $60. He's out, and of course our 64 across player also is out. So we'll put his money aside so I can pay it easier. Puck will be off. We're coming through. No advantage to anybody that time. That's a bummer. Maybe we're back to a dark table. I've been very light side the last few days here. Maybe today's the day where we go a little bit upside down. So on a 5 or a 9, the most you can lay or set for odds is $40. We're gonna go with $40 an ounce, which means his exposure is $50. The person on the 6 or the 8, again, I wanted to keep it fair, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna still do $60 because the reward here is $70. The people who say this is the way to play say, well, you're gonna lose sometimes, but your wins are home runs, and they make up for that. So we're gonna go for the same size win. It's gonna take more risk to get 70 than this guy has. So here's a different advantage for the pass line player versus the I choose my own number player. To get the same $70, he has to risk 60 to win the same 70. So that's interesting, right? You've got to increase your exposure here to keep tab or par with this guy. So the risk is less for the same reward. I think that's very interesting point to make on those strategies. Here we go back to the backside, 50, 60, $5 to the bank to go 64 across. And again, we'll mark his numbers out here, 60, whoops. There's $64. And I got an extra one there. There we go. So everybody's set up. Let's get some numbers rolled. Let's avoid the quick red again. All right, there's a 6-2-8. That's awesome. This player here is going to get paid his $70. And again, the strategy for that first player, he's going to play it like a pass line player. What he's taking one hit and coming down. His whole strategy is to get in and get out, right? He's doing one hit and down. So if I put his bankroll back where he started, right, which is 450 in green and 50 in red, he's got profit. He's in and out. He's done. This guy up here, that 8's going to pay $14. And again, for him, we're just going to be racking our money. I'm going to put his initial bankroll there. We'll put all the profits or what we pull down on this side of his rack. He's going to same bet 3 times. That's one hit. And in fact, I'm going to mark it so I don't forget it. One hit there. Our pass line player is waiting for the 5. There's a 6, 4, 10 the easy way. I'll bring that up here. It's going to pay $18. We'll do 20 for 2 out of the rack. And again, we're just going to same bet it and bring it back. Now, 2 hits in. This is interesting. This player who did the 64 across has taken 2 hits. He's got $32 in his rack. If the 7 comes here, his exposure now is less than this guy's exposure. So after 2 hits, he's picking up nickels in front of the steamroller. He's getting a little bit in front there, but his 7 exposure is reduced as the rolls go. This player's 7 exposure never changes. He's always exposed for his max on the 7. Advantage inside player right now, should the 7 come. If the 5 comes, of course, that whole conversation changes. But here we go. We can get hit number 3. We're going to be in great shape. And we do get hit 3. And in fact, it's a 5, a 3-2-5, which means everybody's happy. Okay. So on our 5, that'll be the point. He'll get paid. We'll do 15 for $1. 15 for 1. That'll come back to the rack. What he's collected off of this shooter, right, is 10, 20, 30, $46 coming back to his rack, and he's down. Technically speaking, he would come down. He made his money on that shooter. He's off. We're going to take the whole $64 down. And his rack is effectively even. He's down 64 from the first getting whacked, from his first getting hammered. If we actually put this, and let me just do it in green so we can. I want to get the rack perfect so you can see what it looks like. There's 2 greens for his reds. There's his 400. Oh, geez. We'll see what kind of profit he's got. There's 400. If I take the reds, like so, there's another $50. There's his 450. There's a 25 in red, and there's a few whites as change. He's actually 20 bucks down because he got the first time he got whacked, right? So we didn't bring enough in on those 3 hits to recover the first loss, but he's close, okay? Our pass line player, of course, is going to get paid 10 flat, and 40 is going to pay him 60. So he, like the guy in the middle, has recovered from the first loss. We'll leave his 10 bucks out there, but I'm going to get his rack right. Okay, there is 400. If I turn these into nickels, into quarters rather, there's his 450 that he started with on the green side. And we're starting to rebuild up his red side. I should have actually made that 5 reds. He's just a few bucks down. He's actually $5 down. Okay, so recovered, almost recovered from the early 7. All 3 players did okay there. So here we go. Puck is going to be off. We're coming back out. Everything gets reset. New point's going to be 9. There's your 9. Again, we're going to come out here with 40 in odds for that player. This guy here is going to target the 8 once again for 60. This guy here is going to go 50, 60, $4 across. And here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Whoops, that's that guy's money. To $64. Okay, he's set. He is set. Let's get some numbers going here. That's going to be a 1-3, 3-1-4, Little Joe. Little Joe. So again, only the across player gets to enjoy the roll. He's going to get paid 18 bucks. And again, we're not pressing. We're just going to collect 3 times and then note when our wins would have come. There's his $18. He's working towards a little bit of profit finally. Let's get a second. I'm going to mark that too so we don't, again, lose our place. 1 hit. There's a 1, 2, 3. Ace deuce. Nobody cares about the ace deuce. There's a 6, 3, 9. Okay, so 2 players are happy about that. This player here will get paid 15 for $1 and come back to his rack. We're going to mark that up as our second hit. The puck is off. Our pass line player. I am light side Johnny this week, it looks like. I'm rolling all sorts of good light side things. So we're going to get paid 10 flat and 50, 60 for the odds in the back. So this player here, as before, is rolling up into profit, which is really good. I'm going to reset his rack. So he's got his initial 450, his initial 50 in reds, and now he's moving to the profit half of his rack. He's got 65 bucks in profit. Awesome. This guy here has a little bit of profit in his rack. If we reset his rack to be close to normal, he wouldn't quite be in his rack at profit, but potentially out here. They're off with the puck, coming out to a new number. That'll be a 4-2-6. Our new point's going to be 6. We're coming out here. I'll actually play it from the profit side so we don't touch his initial bankroll. He's at max odds. The player for the 8, still waiting for a score to happen. Our across player is now back on again, looking for his 3rd hit and down. 3rd hit and down. Can we get 3 hits? We do. We get a 5. There's a 4-1-5. So again, he'll get paid for $1.15. There's your 3rd hit. And this guy's down. I'm going to put this back over here. We're going to reset his rack to the best of our ability with what we have here. Here's a $64. I'm going to take these down. I am going to make greens out of these because I want you to see how the rack gets reset. There's 2 greens, which puts his rack back to 450 in green. $50 in red. And now he's got his nickels in profit. He's got 26 bucks or so in profit after two rolls of getting 3 hits and down. He's got a little bit of profit in his rack. He's finally there. Finally there. This player is playing for, and I'm only doing this to show you reduced exposure. He reduced his exposure on the 7 with every roll until he had none. He has no more exposure. Potentially could be staying out there. And here is the elephant graveyard that Greg and PJ always talk about. I took him 3 hits and down to show you how every roll, his danger with the 7 got smaller and smaller and smaller to where it's now 0 and he's locked it up. 3 hits and down, 3 hits and down, 3 hits and down. You can lock up 25, 30 bucks every roller if you can get 3 hits and down. Now, the across better is playing for the promise of a long roll, right? They're happy to tread water just like this, leave their money out here in hopes that this is the roll that goes 15 or 20, okay? I'm not playing it that way. I did 3 hits and pulled it. Very similar to the strategy that Fives and Bruce Stern did yesterday, the smorgasbord strategy. A few hits and we're out. I'm not gonna jump into a dark side here. I'm just showing you how that player could have played it. So this is a case where that player has the advantage right now over the pass line player because he did get his 3 hits. We didn't get the actual point yet, and he's out. He's got his money safe. This guy here, still super exposed. We're gonna note the numbers though. I'm gonna take the white chips and I'm gonna put them behind the numbers now. As I roll now, we're gonna put chips behind here to see what this player could have achieved if he left his money out there. Let's take a look at that, shall we? It's going to be a 9, a 5, 4, 9. I'll mark that 9. I'm just going to put them here in the don't boxes for now, just to see, again, how many times could that player have pressed and collected before this happened? And the answer is 1, right? We got our 7, so both players here get tased and they're out. This player, had they left their $64 out there, right? They would have lost 64 bucks. This would not be profit, right? They would be down about 15 bucks, not up $28. There's a big difference there by pulling that down and leaving it out. If I had done a single press and pull, my profit or my loss would have been about 30 bucks. I would have lost about 30, about half my money had I done it that way versus same betting, okay? Again, hard to get 4 hits for a shooter. It's really, really hard to get that job done. Here we go. Let's come back out again. I'm gonna work from profit as long as I can on this guy. We're gonna have to dig into our initial bankroll here in a minute. Let's get a new point. This table's feeling more typical. There's a 6-5 yo, so he'll get paid down here on the pass line. Again, we're not gonna progress anything. I'm not gonna stack the bet like I normally would. We're gonna pull that back and just, again, that right there, house edge. The reason why the flat pass line or the flat come bet has a high house edge, or low house edge rather, is because of that 2-to-1 advantage we have down there. Nobody else gets to enjoy that. And that makes up for a whole lot of badness gets made up for by that goodness on this come out roll. Here we go. On the 8 we go. So interestingly enough, the choose your number player and the pass line player have the same number, essentially. What I'm gonna do though is outsmart the game. I'm gonna go ahead and place the 6. And the reason why I'm gonna place the 6 is because this player who plays this way and says, I don't want the dice to choose for me because I don't wanna have to hit a number twice to get paid. He's thinking to himself, well, we already hit the 8 once. Now he's gotta roll the 8 a second time before I can get paid. I'll just take the first hit on the 6 and be out of here. He's gonna switch to the 6 instead of playing the same number that guy's playing. That guy there is gonna go out for his odds. And of course, our cross player now has to dig back into his rack and we'll go 50, 60, $4 across. We'll get him going here in just a second. We'll get our money out. And again, we're gonna place all the numbers. All right, here we go. He's 64 across. I'll mark our 3 numbers as they come. We're looking for a 6 or an 8 for the other 2 players to kind of get their things corrected, and here we go. That's a bummer. There's the 0.7 out. So this would have been the day where the worm turns, right? All my great right side play last couple of days is being erased by that 0.7 out, which takes everybody's money. And everybody at that point was at the same risk level. Nobody had an advantage. This guy here just happened to lose 64 instead of 60, but they were all out there for the same dough. Huge bummer, but here we go. Free pass line bet because he won on the 11 last time. 426. He's on the, oh, that would rolled on me. That was a 6, not a 7. Out of the back, that's a 6. 426, again, max odds. I'm sorry that I'm putting the bets in the wrong spot to where you can't see them, so I apologize for that. Player in the middle is going to go now. He's going to jump ship and go to the 8, like so. And our across player, of course, is going to go 64 across, so there's 50, 60. Do I have $4? I don't. We'll just do a 5. All right, let me get some, let's get some change over here. Okay, there's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $64 with $1 change. And we're rolling. Here we go. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. There's a 6-5 yo. Nobody's on the 11. Does not matter. There's a 3-2-5. So again, the across better is the one guy here getting paid. There's 15 for 1. To the rack. Now his exposure has just dropped. He got paid $14. He had 64 out there. He's exposed for $50 now. His 7 exposure, he's getting less and less exposed to the 7. But again, his potential profits are lower. There's a 6-4-10. 10 will pay 20 for 2. Okay, and again, he's now brought back 18 plus 14. That's how much is that? 20, $32. His exposure now is half of what it was. He's down to 50% exposure. The 7 comes here. He just loses less than everybody else. He's pulling money back, but he's got no profit. And we should mark up, by the way, the 10 and the 5 that we got hit on. This will be hit 3. If he can get hit 3, he's out. There's a 6. Interesting case here. The across better gets paid for the 6, 15 for 1, and comes back to his rack. Now, technically speaking, he's down. He's off with the puck. That guy down there, by the way, is going to get paid again. $70. He gets paid 60 for his odds, which you can see, and 10 for his flat. So again, the pass line player gets the home run that he was looking for. He is going to put $100 back in his rack. He's back to even already following that gross loss that we had on the PSO earlier. He's back to even with a little bit of profit. Guy on the 8 got nothing out of it. The 64 across player got his 3 hits and down. Point got made. Technically speaking, if it's me playing this, I view this as a new set of 3, right? And not going to come down to the next shooter. That series is over. We're going to leave our bets off with the puck, and I'll leave them out there and go for 3 more hits to keep the game right. There's a 1, 2, 3, ace deuce, losing on the pass line. And coming back to it. Here we go. Coming back to the pass line. There's that. There's a 5-4-9. 5-4-9 is our new point. And again, we'll do 25, 40 in odds, the most you can do. Everybody else is on. We're looking for 3 new hits here. Now, this guy here is in a good spot. He got his 3 hits last time. It's good. He, technically speaking, racks this up as profit, comes back out with a new 64 across. That's what we're simulating here. So again, we're going to same bet 3 times. And then, I don't know what we should do. Actually, should we same bet it or not? There's a 6-3-9. If I'm doing the comparison the way I want to do the comparison, which is 3 hits and down versus a single pass line bet, we should do it this way. I think it's the right, fair way to do this. So every pass line bet, we compare it to 64 across, 3 hits and down, anew, instead of saying we're going to now start pressing. So that's what we're going to do. He'll get paid 60 for 40 on his odds. He'll get paid 10 on his flat. Hits the point. That's a beautiful win. So again, we're rocking and rolling back here on the pass line. This guy's doing well. Let's rack up his profit. He's ahead by about $100. That's cool. Our other guy here is going to get paid $14 for that 9. We're going to mark it up as 1 hit. The puck will be off. And our poor player in the front here, who's decided that he's smarter than everybody else and is going to pick the easiest number to roll, has not seen the number hit, but 1 time all day. Or we're just off the 6s and 8s today for some reason. There's a 1, 2, 3, ace deuce. Lose our pass line a second time. Come back out. There's the 6. We're on the 6. The only change here is that this guy's going to go out. Whoops. For his odds. I'm going to get his rack corrected too. He's got full rack, 25 in profit. Here we go. 426. Everybody set? Looking for our second hit here, by the way. There's a 426. We get the point hit right back. So what'll happen here is this player, we'll mark that up, is going to get paid 15 bucks. Where's the 6? 15 bucks in exchange for 1. That's 2 hits on his way to 3 hits and down. Our line player, 10 flat, 60 in odds, and good looking rack right there for him. New point coming. Here we go. That 8. Can I believe this guy has not hit a thing yet? New point's going to be a 325. We're going to come out here with 40 bucks. Let's do it. Should this be moved to the 6? I don't know. I'm rolling more 6s than 8s, but does it matter? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Nobody cares. What's fascinating to me is there's a 6, 4, 10. Finally, we get it, right? 6, 4, 10. There's our 20. 20 for 2 exchange down here on the end. He's coming back to the rack. Finally, this guy got 3 hits. If you can believe it, we finally got our 3 hits back here. It took forever to get 3 hits and then 3 hits the second time. Took forever to get that done. That's fascinating. And if we bring him back to the rack, which I will do, that's 64 bucks. I'm going to pull this over here just to make it easy for myself and give him 50, 60, $4 like this back. So I want to reset his rack and show you kind of where he is. We're going to get him back to set again because he's damn close, right? If I exchange these reds for 2 greens, you'll see that after all that work, and it was a lot of work to get here, his rack is right, and he's got this in profit. He took 3 hits and down, 3 hits and down. He's back to even, and he's got 55 bucks in profit. After all that work, 55 bucks in profit. It's a lot of work to get there. And again, I'm same betting it. I know that you could press it and make more money, but to demonstrate the theory, we same betted it. We got 3 hits and down 2 times. I'm going to clear the markers. I'm going to mark from this point forward. What would happen if this guy decided to stay out? Now here, he has not even enough money to be playing on house money yet. Not even enough money in profit after getting hit on the 7 twice to even come out here and play for house with house money. He could probably go 44 inside with this if he wanted to. I think I can do that, right? I have enough to go 44 inside, and that's it. But again, we're going to run to relative safety here, keep ourselves locked up in some profit. I will mark so that we know, or we can talk about if the roll would have gone on and you would have decided to be the guy that stays out here, keeping yourself at a negative risk, then would you have done okay? There's a 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter. There's the 12, midnight, does not matter. And there's an 8. Finally, our other guy gets a little bit of cash. This guy's been watching this game this whole time and gotten nothing out of it, which is unfortunate. Poor dude's gotten like zero help from the roller here. He's still behind, if you can believe that. After all that work or all that waiting around, he's still 50 bucks down after getting hit. There's an extra 10 bucks. He's still 50 bucks down because he needs 2 more greens in here. He's still down after all that. It's crazy. Let's mark the 8. We'll let this hand resolve. There's a 7, 6, 1, 7. So this player loses down here. Whoops, wrong stack. And that happens, right? And here again, if you would have stayed 64 out, you would have got 1 hit and gotten whacked, right? If you'd left your money out here. So that player would have been treading water endlessly, right? He would have got 1 more hit. He would have been at 4 hits total, would have got him to about 56 bucks or so in his rack. He still would have lost $12, right? It's interesting. You got to, that's why I do like the inside, the 1, 2, 3 press and I'm out, or why you do a power press to get in and out quickly, but it's hard to get these extra hits. It's really hard to get the extra hits. Let's take 1 more roller and then we'll call it here. Let's get a new point. There's a 617. Again, the reason for the low house edge is those payments on the come out roll. Nobody else gets to do that. 325. New point's going to be a 5. We're going to come out here with $40 in odds. We're going to come out here again. We're going to pick let's pick the 6 this time. It doesn't matter which one we pick. We're just going to pick whatever seems to be hot, so to speak. And here we're going to go again as close as we can to 64. There's 50. There's 54. We're going to have to pull $10 out of our core to make this happen. So this guy's going to start in arrears, not by a lot, but he's going to start $5 down. So one hit, he'll be in profit. We'll manage his rack as we go. Let's get some numbers. There we go, 6, 4, 10. I'll mark the 10. It's our first one. That'll pay $18. And back to the rack we go. And again, I'll put $2 or 2 nickels here. His rack is actually correct as starting position. His rack is correct with starting position. He's down. So 2 players have profit, 1 player does not. There's a repeater on the 10, a 6, 4, 10, a repeater. And that'll again be, we'll do 18, 20 in exchange for 2. Showing some profit. That's our second hit. One more hit and we're down. 5, 1, 6. Sweet. So again, he'll get paid $15 in exchange for 1. There's the 6, and he's coming all the way down. We'll put his $15 here in the rack like so. I'm going to take the 64. I'm going to pay him back like this just because I want to keep the rack clean. Your dealers would never pay you in color like that, but that's how it's going to be. So he's back. He's got some decent profit now, right? He had 64 out there. He collected, and now he's got a decent amount of profit to show for it. This player here is going to get paid $70 and come down. He's down and out. He's finally going to be, I think, even. There's 400. There's 450. My God, this guy, is he going to be even? He's going to be exactly even for the day, plus that, right? He's got a little tiny bit of profit. Okay, he's doing good. Everybody's profit bound. I'm going to take these down. I'm going to remark any new numbers that come. Waiting for a 5 for that guy to see where we all land. There's going to be a 12, which nobody gets paid on. This will be our last shooter, by the way. There's the 7 out. So the pass line player, unfortunately, loses on the last run that he has. And from a profit standpoint, the pass line player has $50, $60, $5 in profit. The guy who picked his numbers has, let's see, there's 25. He has $30 in profits. He gets bested by 2-to-1 advantage. A cross player has 50, 75, $105 in profits. He actually did the best today. I think because we ran. We ran for cover twice after getting our 3 hits and down. I think that kind of saved his bacon. Playing it super conservative, but playing it the way that the dice normally fly, protecting yourself, put this guy here in the driver's seat today. Although for the 3rd day in a row, the pass line player showed profit. That last hit is what changed the course of events there for him. So there we go. That's it. So there's that. All right, let's go back to the table here. Let's talk about all the things. I'm going to go back to the view, and I'm going to put up some of your comments here. I'm going to do the Q thing first and just see if there's any questions that came up during this. Looks like not. And we'll also look for PC comments. Give the bank a marker. Yeah, and Bruce is awesome. I know this is from way earlier in the show, but yeah, Bruce Thurn is amazing. Let's see. And Jeff, we get a lot of email. I know Greg probably does not as much because you can see most of Greg's table. But even when Greg rolls, you can't see the numbers. He brings them back and you have to trust him that that's what the numbers are. It's ridiculous. Why would we be screwing you? Why would we be lying about our numbers? I don't care. I'm just showing you a strategy, right? But anyway, that little window there is there just for proof that the numbers rolled. And between the little thing and when the dice roll out past it, you can hopefully see both dice. So that's going to be it. And yeah, Duracell says merits of early regression strategies. The only trouble with regression, though, I got to make sure, and maybe the chat has talked about this already, but the problem with regression is you got to go high to regress to a sane number. Like going 160 or 320 across for 1 or 2 hits gets you back down to where you can play normally. But yeah, it's so hard to get 3-4 hits. I've proved this every day, how hard it is to get those 2 or 3 or 4 hits. It's really, really tough. And that one player, it took him 2 shooters to get his 6 hits. It's insane how long that takes. So yeah, and I think, yeah, regression is the key. If you're going to play light side, you got to get playing risk-free as fast as you can. And again, the light side player who's doing this, and I don't know if PJ's here or not. I haven't seen chats. But the light side player, the way to play that, right, is you're going to be okay. And I think what PJ and a lot of the math centric players will tell you is that on the pass line, as you saw, home run, home run, home run, home run, couple of losses, home run, home run. They're playing for it because they're putting a lot out there on the odds. Versus the pass line or the cross player's game is to go tread water, tread water, tread water, lose 5, win 10, lose 16, win 12. They're going like this all day long, and then the 35 roller happens. Then Jeff comes up and rolls 40, and then you're set up for it. So that player's game is to not make money. And I think it's hard for a lot of people to understand that if you're playing the right side, we're okay with not making money. We're okay with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1,000. That's the pass line player's gambit, right? I think you can all agree with me that that's how we're looking to play it. That's why you bring enough money for 10 shooters. That's why you plan your day this way. That's why you press the way you press, because you're looking for the guy that's going to roll, 40 rolls to make your money for the day. The dark side player, Greg, is going to just go even Steven, $25, $25, $25, down 30, up a quarter. Use the Paroli, win 7 quarters and go home. That player is playing here. The pass line player is playing here, right? It's like a heartbeat. He's got nothing, big home run. Nothing, little loss, nothing, big home run. Look at it that way. It's what you're playing for and the way you want to play. The dark side, the light side, or the math pass line way that determines when you win, how much you win, and what your rhythm is going to be. And that heartbeat rhythm that you're looking for, again, a cross player is going to be here all day long until the big spike. They want a big spike. That's it. Greg is looking for this all day long. Little tiny wins all day long, and it's reliable because he's not going for half his bankroll out there. Hope that makes sense. Mindset, right? I know that some people don't like me talking about mindset, but that's what it's all about. You got to know what your goal is. And I think if you take nothing out of the last 3 days, take that away from your last 3 days. I hope that makes good sense. With that said, I'm not sure. I have not looked at any chats other than the ones that have my name on them. So hopefully everything is okay out there. Anything you want to talk about? We got a few minutes to go. We got some more things to talk through. Vince Armeni, I'm wondering if you're talking about your strategy from yesterday. I see that I watched your whole video yesterday. And you know what? I'm a believer too, Dr. S. Here's the thing. That thing he did yesterday was insane. I could never play it. I can't play it because my bankrolls or my casinos are $500 max. So you played that thing where you had, I think, 740 at one point out there. I can't do it. I have to cap my bets at some point. So that wouldn't work for me, that kind of a strategy. But you're right. Over the course of time, the math on that thing, if you play it long enough with an unlimited bankroll, the math will work out eventually. That's cool that it worked. It was pretty fun to watch that thing evolve. But like I said, for those of us at lower limit casinos, there's no way that can work. So there's that. All right. Let's see. I think we got to go. I think we have to go to work. So I'll see you again tomorrow morning. I'll put the YOLO video out later on today. I'm actually going to carve up the last 3 days of videos, and I'm going to try and find all the words of wisdom that I put out there. There's a few days where I said some cool things, along with the rollouts. I may put it out as 2 separate videos. I don't know how I'll do it yet, but expect to see the summary of this last 3 days on the Pro Craps channel. I'll try and coalesce all that into one stream of consciousness, I guess, and make it make some sense out there. So again, morning show is going well. Thanks all for joining. I really appreciate all the viewership. We got 30 people here every day, which is awesome. It's awesome. Tell your friends. Let's get this channel growing. I think we're almost at 400 subscribers now. I want to get this thing to 1,000 before we do any kind of marathon. And there is talk, by the way, I'll tell you later on, there's talk of another marathon coming up sooner than later. We may do another 24-hour show to raise money soon. More details to come, but I don't want to divulge anything just yet, but we're talking about it because there's a member of our community that has it in his heart to raise some money for a cause that I think makes sense given circumstances. So we'll talk about that later once I have details. So there's all that. Duracell says, I practice regression all the time and constantly win. If you can get there, great. You know, maybe it's just the way I roll. I have a tough time getting my 2 hits. But I agree with you. I think regression. I'm okay with treading. If I'm going to go light side, I'm with you, man. I'm treading water all day long and then hammering it later on. I like to go for the hammer when it comes. There it is. Go watch Vince later on today. He's going to do, I think, some more of this new strategy of his. It's actually one that I like better. Actually, Vince, I like it best of all the things you've done recently. I'm not a big fan of the coin pusher at all. I'm not a big fan of the baseball. This one I actually like a little bit because mathematically it makes sense. It's easy on the dealers and it's easy for most people to understand and repeat without screwing it up. So to me, that makes good sense. Just keep dropping your 22 out there and roll it up. So there it is all. Have a great day. Love every one of you. I will see you tomorrow morning, maybe even tonight. I have a new strategy I'm working on, which is an insane, stupid strategy, but I'm having fun with it. And sometimes you have to just have fun. Have a great Wednesday. Bye all.